All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today to learn more about Loyola University. Before I turn it over to our presenters, I just wanted to go over a few things really quick. Students, your cameras and microphones will be off. If you'd like to ask questions to our presenters, please use the Q&A function. Please also remember we do have about another week's worth of programs available. So if you want to sign up for additional sessions, you can do so at www.pacac.org/virtual. A recording of this presentation will be available for viewing on PACAC's website within a week. And I will now turn it over to our presenters.
Great, thank you. So first we want to start by introducing ourselves. My name is Abigail Maceras. I am an admission counselor at Loyola University. I work specifically with students from Central and Western Pennsylvania. So think York County up to the north and all the way over towards Allegheny and Erie County. And I'll turn it over to Zoe to introduce herself as well.
My name is Zoe Derrickson. I'm an admission counselor here at Loyola, and I have our eastern part of PA, so the counties that Abby did not mention.
Great. All right, let me share my screen real quick and we can get started. All right. So we want to start with a little bit of the principles and the history of Loyola. So Loyola University is a Jesuit Catholic liberal arts university. And from that Jesuit philosophy and from that liberal arts curriculum, we get our motto, strong truths well lived. And this is not just a motto, not just something that we like to hang on flags on campus or paint on our walls. This is something that we truly believe at Loyola, that during your time and during your 4 or 5 years, you're going to be challenged and you're going to be transformed through that Jesuit philosophy and through that liberal arts curriculum. And everything that you take with you, everything that you learn both in and outside of the classroom is going to stick with you throughout the rest of your life. A little bit of background, we were founded in 1852 by the Jesuit priests, and we've been on our campus, what we call the Evergreen campus, in the north part of Baltimore since 1929. I do want to talk a little bit about who our students are. As cheesy as it is, the Greyhound does have the largest heart of any dog. So what makes that heart beat? We have about 4,000 students in our undergraduate program, and these students come from over 40 different states and over 40 different countries. So really students coming from everywhere. 70% of our students come from outside of the state of Maryland. We have large numbers of students that we get from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, of course, New England. But we're also getting growing numbers of students coming from California, Florida, and Puerto Rico. So this is really going to give you an education both in and outside of the classroom, because you're going to meet students from all different walks of life, all different life experiences, all different backgrounds. And that's part of those strong truths well lived. So anytime you're grabbing a drink at Starbucks or sitting down for lunch at Boulder, you're going to meet people from all over the place. And that's going to inform your education. When you are on campus, it's important to note that 98% of our first year students live on campus and over 80% of our students live on campus all 4 years. We have a highly residential campus, so we have 17 residence halls on campus that range anywhere from traditional dorm style to apartments or townhouses on campus. So for the most part, sophomores and older live in apartment style housing or townhouses, while first year students have the option to live in traditional dorm style housing or apartment housing. It's also important to note that we are ranked in the top 10 universities for residence halls according to the Princeton Review. And, you know, this doesn't mean we have luxury apartments, but carpet and drywall do go a long way when it comes to college housing. Another reason that we have such a large population of students living on campus is that our students are very involved and engaged at Loyola, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later. Of course, when you do come to Loyola, you're going to be living in the city of Baltimore, and being from Pennsylvania, you guys aren't too far away from the city, so a lot of you may be familiar. But Baltimore is really a phenomenal city to be a young person these days, and I'll tell you a little bit why. So Baltimore is consistently ranked in some of the top cities for young professionals, especially for startups, engineering, tech, and other STEM fields, as well as the arts and humanities. So we have over 30 major business incubators in the city of Baltimore alone, with major headquarters like Under Armour, Black & Decker, JP Morgan, as well as several other startups, as I said. We're also only about 40 minutes from DC, so students interested in political science, communications, global studies, etc., you guys aren't too far from world-class internship opportunities. So we had a student ambassador who graduated this past spring. She had an internship her senior year with the FBI, and then following graduation, she got a job with the Department of Homeland Security. One of my colleagues who went to Loyola and majored in political science also had an internship her senior year as an aide for a top Senate member throughout her senior year. So these are things to keep in mind because of our location. Not only that, but we are ranked in the top 10 foodie cities according to Yelp. So that's also something to keep in mind. But the city of Baltimore, as I said, is incredibly accessible for young people. So there are over 120,000 college students in the Baltimore area. That's equal to about a sixth of the population of the entire city. So that means that anytime you go out to dinner downtown with your friends, or a show at the Hippodrome, or a game at Camden Yards, you're going to be surrounded by young people. And that's going to make the city and all its opportunities incredibly accessible to you. And now I'm going to hand it over to Zoe to explain our academics as well as our Messina program.
So our Messina is a unique first-year living and learning experience designed to help you adjust quickly to college-level work, as well as just forge a path of success academically, professionally, and socially at Loyola, both in your life and the career that will follow. Messina offers an opportunity to explore a wide range of disciplines, appreciate your interconnectedness, and then take to heart the importance of learning your personal and intellectual growth. Messina features 2 linked first-year seminar courses, so 1 class in the fall and 1 in the spring, connected by 4 different themes. One of these courses will also be taught by our core advisor. So that's going to be your advisor before you declare a major. You'll also have 1 hour of enrichment per week. So those are out-of-class experiences, events, performances, excursions, really designed to help you extend classroom learning, build stronger communities around learning, and then establish a deeper relationship with both your faculty members as well as fellow students in each of these classes. You'll also have a chance to live in proximity to, but not necessarily with, other students in your Messina course. So community students will also have the access to residence halls, so they get to spend more time with their Messina classmates. And then the course pairings, which I briefly mentioned, are the visionary, self and other, stories we tell, and the good life. When we talk about Messina, we really like to talk about the triangle of support. So support from your faculty members who are going to become your mentors. They're going to know your strengths within the classroom setting because they have you as students. They're also going to know you outside of the classroom with those enrichment hours. And then you'll have a mentor. So that's an administrator, might be someone from our office who will help guide you to the different resources on campus. And then you'll also have support from an evergreen. That is a student peer leader specifically charged with helping you adjust to your first year at Loyola. So they've gone through the process. They're great resources, whether you want to know where's a great place to grab a bite to eat or where's the nearest place to get your hair cut. And then you'll also have support from your Messina working group. Of the students, about 16 of them will be in the same course both in the fall and the spring. Next, we'll move on to academics. So Messina is really the start of your journey at Loyola when it comes to academics. So when we talk about Loyola, we really like to talk about experience, accessibility, relationships, and outcomes. Those are the very things that are going to set you apart in terms of internships or post-grad opportunities and give you a competitive edge. We have our average class size of around 20 students, as well as a low student to faculty ratio, 12:1, and then 100% of our classes are taught by Loyola faculty. So they're really becoming your mentors throughout your entire 4 years and beyond. They're going to be great recommendations for internships, as well as first jobs out of college. And then we offer 3 different pre-professional program tracks. Those include pre-health, pre-law, as well as pre-med. And in each program, we beat the national acceptance rate by 25 to 35 points. So the national acceptance rate for medical school is around 39%. At Loyola, our pre-med acceptance rate is 88%. And then 94% of our seniors and alumni who applied to law school were admitted during the 2018-2019 period. And they also got significant scholarships to attend University of Virginia, Georgetown, and Villanova. So in addition to our pre-professional programs, Loyola has 35 different majors and 45 different minors. Some popular majors include biology, psychology, engineering, accounting, as well as anything within our business school, so finance, marketing. And then Loyola is divided into 3 different schools. So the School of Arts and Sciences, the School of Education, and then the Salinger School of Business and Management. So many of our students arrive on Loyola having already decided their major or course of study, but because we think it's really important for those first years to be given the chance to explore all disciplines and consider their choice of major, they're not allowed to officially declare their major until the end of the second semester, and also have 3 semesters before they must declare. So around 20 to 30% of our first year students are undeclared. And Loyola is really committed to those Jesuit ideas of academic excellence and the importance of liberal arts. So we really express that through our core curriculum, which includes about 15 to 18 courses specifically dedicated to writing, history, English, foreign language, and more. So the purpose of the core is to provide students with skills of critical thinking, discernment, writing efficiency, and math literacy, and more, regardless of which professional interest that you decide to be a part of. So part of our education philosophy is giving students experiences both professionally and socially. And Loyola has incredibly vibrant and active student communities. So whether you're looking for adventure, leadership opportunities, or professional experiences, we're confident that there's a place for you. We have approximately 18 different D1 teams. Our men's lacrosse won the 2012 national championship. We have 25 different club sports. Our women's lacrosse was back-to-back lacrosse championships, and then 12 intramurals, as well as esports, Tuesday trivia, virtual escape rooms. So especially if you played a sport in high school and want to continue that, we have multiple levels available for you. And then we also have 40 different outdoor adventure experience trips offered each year. So those could be day trips or weekend trips, whether you're interested in kayaking, paddleboarding, whitewater river rafting, camping. We have a lot of great places in Maryland. And then we also have 200 different student organizations. So whether you're a foodie and want to travel around Baltimore, or you love the Rubik's Cube, there's plenty of clubs that fit your interests. If you don't find that one that you like, then we'll help you create a new one. We also have a lot of different activities and events, approximately 500. So whether it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday or 5 p.m. on a Sunday, there's always something going on campus. Loyola Palooza is a really big event for us. So that's our annual springtime festival, and then BSA fashion show. So that brings across hundreds of students, families, faculty members, really for a night to celebrate Black culture and talent. And then community service is also a big part of the Loyola experience. 2 and 3 students participate in some type of community service, whether that's one time, semester, or year long. We have approximately 50 different area groups, public and nonprofit organizations, as well as just different initiatives in Baltimore. So whether you're interested in adult education, advocacy, aging or senior citizens, or just working with people with developmental or intellectual disabilities, we have a whole host of different community service opportunities. And then study abroad. So that's something that's really huge for us. There's nothing that enriches your college education like an international experience. So more than 60% of our students participate in Loyola's various study abroad opportunities. We sponsor more than 60 study abroad programs in over 20 different countries. Most students go abroad their junior year, usually for a single semester, but we do have full year, summer, and holiday tours. We are ranked number 19 in the nation among study abroad. We also have programs in Rome, Madrid, Copenhagen, Bangkok, and more. Next, diving into the application requirements. So it's a pretty straightforward and easy process. Loyola is a member of the Common App. So the evaluation really combines analysis of academic information as well as recommendations and extracurriculars. So we really take a holistic approach. So we ask for your high school transcript, counselor, and teacher recommendations. SAT scores are optional, so I'll talk about that a little later. And then you're also more than welcome to include a resume or a record of extracurricular activities or evidence of a special talent or leadership. And then there is a separate application deadline for transfer students. So diving into test optional, so that simply means that SAT and ACT scores are not required for applying to Loyola. So our goal is to ensure that Loyola is accessible to all high achieving, motivated students, regardless of their test score. So if your standardized tests are a strong, accurate reflection of your ability and achievements and potentials, then you are more than welcome to submit them. If they don't accurately portray you, then you don't need to. We are not test blind, so we will consider your test scores if you submit them. But since 2010, we have not required applicants to submit their test score, and around 20 to 30% of our first year applicants are test optional. And they are not required to submit them if you're competing for those merit-based scholarships as well. And then just looking at the admitted student profile, our SAT ranges from 1150 to 1310. Our average GPA is a 3.63, and then the middle 50% for ACT is 25 to 30. So again, we don't have a preference over SAT or ACT. You can submit either score or both. We do super score both tests. So if you send multiple test dates, we'll just take your highest score for each of the sections. And then we'll also review you in the context of your own school, as well as our applicant pool. We have two different deadlines. Early action is non-binding, and the deadline is November 15th. We also have regular decision, January 15th. Again, both are non-binding, so you have until May 1st, national candidates reply date. We say that you'll hear back for early action mid-January. We've gotten out notifications as early as Christmas time, and then mid-March for regular decision. Both applicant pools are similar quality in terms of GPA, as well as test scores if you decide to submit them. And then we also offer scholarship and financial aid. Merit-based scholarship is purely academic. So those is available to any student applying to be admitted into Loyola. You're automatically considered for it. And then no separate application is required. Merit-based scholarships for the 2020-21 academic year range between $20,000 to $30,000. So once you receive scholarship notification, you'll be notified at the time of admission. So those mid-January and mid-March dates that I talked about. And then we also have need-based financial aid. So to be considered for need-based financial aid, you have to fill out the CSS profile and then the FAFSA. So both of those are required. More than 90% of our students receive financial aid, and then the average package size is $35,650. So that is a large chunk. We encourage all of our applicants to apply for need-based financial aid.
Great, thank you, Zoe. And then that brings us to our final and often what I think and what parents and families think is the most important part of this presentation, and that's return on investment. Why is Loyola worth it? So as Zoe said earlier, throughout this presentation, we've tried to hit on 3 key points, those being experience, accessibility, and now we're going to talk about why those 2 key points matter, and we're going to talk about our third, which is outcomes. So, as Zoe said, over 60% or over 2/3 of our students do study abroad at some point during their Loyola career. We have over 60 different programs in over 20 locations. And these are Loyola specific programs. So again, all of your tuition, all of your financial aid are going to travel with you, and all of your credits are going to travel back, which is a great deal. But also in the long run, it helps you to see the world from different perspectives. And that's going to value you throughout your entire life. We also boast a 79% four-year graduation rate. So a lot of schools like to give a 4 to 6 year graduation rate, but we give a 4-year graduation rate because we believe that by the time students are 21 or 22, they should be ready both socially and academically to continue their studies in a field of their choice, to take on a full-time career, and really just to continue on in their lives with what they've taken from Loyola. At 79%, this is also 30 points higher than the national average. And another thing to note about a 4-year graduation rate is that not only is an additional year of college an additional year of tuition, but it's also a year lost of salary. And that's a pretty big financial hit when you think about it. Over 80% of our students graduate with some sort of real world experience. This includes both internships and undergraduate research opportunities. So we have a phenomenal career center that'll start working with students throughout their first year to help them go through the discernment process. Discernment is a huge part of the Jesuit tradition that's figuring out what you're good at, what you enjoy, and how you can give that back to the world. So that they also have a large network of community members as well as alumni and other important networking opportunities for students to access throughout the rest of their Loyola career, for internships both in the state of Maryland as well as across the entire globe. And then we also boast a 30% value added to mid-career salary according to the Brookings Institute. This puts us in the top 2% of small 4-year private colleges in terms of return on investment. And then according to a recent study done by Georgetown, Loyola was ranked in the top 2% of schools overall for long-term 30 and 40-year return on investment. That all adds up to what we call a 98.8% success rate. So this means that within 6 to 9 months following graduation, 98.8% of our student body finds themselves either in a full-time bachelor's required job, a full-time graduate program, or a full year of service committed to the military, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, or something similar. So with that, we bring our formal presentation to an end, but this is a great opportunity for you guys to ask any questions that you may have about Loyola, student life, academics, or the application process. So feel free to include your Q&A or your questions in the Q&A box, and Zoe and I will be able to answer them for you. So we'll give you all a few minutes just to fill those out. All right, so we do have a question about the CSS profile and the FAFSA. So we ask, as Zoe said, we ask all students to complete both the CSS profile and the FAFSA. The CSS profile is a little more nuanced than the FAFSA, which most, if not all, schools do require the FAFSA, but you'll find that a lot of private schools require the CSS profile. It's a little more nuanced, it takes more into account, but that's how we as a private institution are able to evaluate students for any institutional need-based aid, and often this comes in the form of grants, so that is something to keep in mind.
And then we have a question regarding support on campus through academic resources. So we do have a writing center as well as the studies. So the writing center, you can sign up to get your paper or homework reviewed by a peer or a professional in the writing center. And then you'll also send an email notification to your professor to know that you signed up for one of these sessions. And then we also have the studies. So that is peer and professional tutoring. So it goes through a regular process where your peers are accredited in terms of passing the class, doing really well in it, and being suggested to become a tutor. So that's really nice, especially if you're struggling in class or just want some help in terms of homework or a specific chapter as well.
We have a question about visit opportunities. So we do want to highlight some of our many visit opportunities that we have, both online and in person. So if you are feeling comfortable enough, we are open for socially distant and safe campus tours. We kept those to a maximum of 10 guests, so 5 students plus 1 guest per tour. And we advise everyone to stay 6 feet away, and everyone is required to wear masks the whole time. So again, if you're comfortable with that, there are plenty of opportunities over the next few weeks to sign up for those. But we also have plenty of virtual events going on. So we have virtual information sessions every Monday and Friday. Those give you kind of the same information that we talked about, but you'll have more opportunities to ask questions if anything comes up between now and then. But we also have academic interest sessions available via Zoom. So whatever academic department or discipline you're interested in, as well as our pre-professional programs that Zoe mentioned earlier. Those are available throughout the week. You can check our website to see what is available there. And then we also have an open house coming up, a virtual open house week. The week, is it next week, Zoe? Where, yes, next week. Sorry, it's November now. Where we will have different academic interest sessions, as well as student panels and panels with campus leaders. So you really get to meet face-to-face with students and administrators that you otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to meet because of social distancing. But that is a great opportunity to learn more about Loyola and different specific parts and departments of Loyola that otherwise you wouldn't have the opportunity to learn about. So all of these can be found if you go to our website and you complete a short information form requesting more information from Loyola. We will send you information about the open house dates, as well as different visit opportunities that come up throughout the week. So that's just something to keep in mind. Any other questions?
We just received one on new majors. So we have a data science major and minor. That's actually an interdisciplinary across computer science, statistics, and business. Like Abby mentioned, we are really strong in the STEM area, and this is the first Bachelor of Science in Data Science in Maryland. We also do have a sustainability management major. So that really combines both management as well as sustainability. So you'll take classes in people and the planet. We also have an innovation and entrepreneurship minor. So that has 4 different tracks where you can do social or creative entrepreneurship or tech ventures in engineering or the sciences. And then our last really cool new major and minor combination is forensic studies. So different than forensic sciences in that it encompasses 16 different departments. And like we already mentioned, Maryland is ranked #1 in US cities for the highest concentration of STEM majors. And we're also striving to be the 3rd largest biohealth cluster. So there are tons of forensic laboratories for you to get internships, as well as that research experience and independent study.
All right, we'll give you one last call for questions. If you have any, feel free to include those in the chat box, and we're more than happy to answer them. We'll give you all a few minutes for that.
All right. Well, thank you very much to both of our presenters. A reminder for students, there will be a quick survey following this webinar, and another reminder that you can still sign up for more sessions. We have about another week of programming left to go. That website again is www.pacac.org/virtual, and the recording of this session will be available on PACAC's website within the next week. So with that, thank you very much again to our presenters, and I hope everybody has a great night.